Hi, welcome to my live. My name is Petra, and I'm from Transcends.com. Um, I would like to show you a little bit and talk a little bit about my website and what we do here. Um, so let's see here. We're going to talk about how I get on the website and a little bit about it. Um, so HopeTranscends.com was developed so that we could have a online group therapy and coaching and create community. And so with community, there comes support. So difficult times happen, and it doesn't have to hold us back. It doesn't have to make us feel like we're in the dark. And so we build lives. And I'm super excited to be able to share that. Hi, Bristol. Whoop, good to see ya. So happy to have some of the people with me today. Let's see. So, wonder how you're doing today. My day was crazy. Talk about picking up extra, dealing with all kinds of drama. The most important thing about drama and dealing with that sort of stuff is just staying calm and remaining calm. It's a very scary thing to do to come on here. So super excited to be able to walk through that fear. Let's see here. Yeah. So let's see here. So this is the second time I've ever done a live, and I'm super excited about it, but super nervous too. Anyways, HopeTranscends.com. It was an idea that, many people didn't have that support they were looking for. And, kind of taking the therapy and the fear base away from it and just making it a beautiful place where we can all get together and just talk about those things that you don't normally want to talk about or that you have fear about talking about. And just kind of laying it all out there and knowing that there's a safe place for you to be able to do that. To be able to talk about the things that you wouldn't want to talk to your mom about or that you wouldn't share with other people. I have the ability to kind of just make you feel safe and make you feel comfortable and know that you're not ever being judged for anything, but not take away your choices or not take away your decisions or the ability to make those choices for yourself. Just kind of like look at what it is, and just kind of follow through with your ideas, right? So I want to take you closer because I want to show you my website. Let's see if we can get you to see it here. All right, cool. Yeah, there we go. So it's HopeTranscends.com. The thing I really love is this right here. It's a person, and it shows you hope and how it brings hope, and hope brings you and transcends your life. So let's see. There's stories of hope here that are very amazing. And let me see if I can just show you. So we'll go down here and you can see home page. That's where we're on right now. And our mission statement. Let's see, get my glasses. So the mission statement here, it says, at Hope Transcends, we are committed to developing affordable and sustainable services that enhance mental health well-being. We firmly believe that compassionate support should be accessible to everyone, regardless of financial constraints. So if you can buy a cup of coffee, you can come and have support. We are dedicated to ensuring safe and empowering environment for healing and personal growth. And together we can tackle those challenges and cultivate a healthier tomorrow. So let's see here. What else do we see? Your story and your path. We believe that here you write your own story. The thing I think is super important to know is that it's your life. It's not your counselor's life. And you can rewrite your story. So things might not be going very good, and that's okay, because that's how life is. But no matter whether life is difficult or not, here we believe that we'll stand next to you while and support you while you go through your life. Like figuring out who you are. Who are we really? And pulling out all of those awesome and positive things. That's what's important in our life. So let's look here some more. What we offer supportive online groups and communities, plus transformative classes. One of the classes that I like to be able to offer is art therapy, So I love art, and one thing I've noticed about art is you can completely engulf yourself in the way your mood is, and it doesn't matter what your art looks like. Your art is beautiful. There's no mistakes in art. So sometimes when we're going through super difficult times, we can take our mind right away from all of that just by doing art, singing, anything like that. One-on-one coaching or counseling that can be completely private. We offer recovery-focused networks to build meaningful connections. One thing about focusing networks and building community is you're not alone. I mean, you're never alone. It's beautiful because the people who are in your support group are just like you, just like me. Human beings who go through difficult times that can support each other. We offer programming for preventive and recovery, aftercare, and long-term growth. Our mission is simple: to make professional support available to anyone in need without financial barriers. And I'll talk a little bit more about that and how you can get group therapy or therapy for reasonable prices or even free. Your first session's always free. Programming. Oh, and then so our mission is basically we want to make sure that people can get services barrier free for about the cost of a cup of coffee or a simple doctor's visit copay. You can receive excellent expert guidance and care. No insurance required, which means anyone can access and get help that they deserve without stress of paperwork or approvals. No approvals. We blend holistic and spiritual practices with evidence-based therapies like cognitive behavior therapy, dialectic behavior therapy, all to address a person's mind, body, and spirit. Whether you're navigating addiction recovery, coping with trauma, managing anxiety, depression, working through grief, we create a personalized plan that's affordable, compassionate, built around your peace and your goals. Let's see here. Let's look for some more. Still with me? Ooh, my Bristol's still with me. Thank you, honey. So glad to have you here. All right. So let's look here. So some of the things that I believe that I am very grateful to be able to put on here is these wonderful little sayings here. The gift of life lived with hope, healing, and forgiveness is worth more than gold. Be kind and never non-judgmental, because you never know what person will be taken from you. So we also do and work with loss and grief. Let's see here. So this one I like a lot. Life is in our hands. Addiction robs us of our time, loved ones, and sometimes our life. We matter and are important. You are resilient and stronger than you know. This one here I love too. Hold my inner child with love, safety, and forgiveness. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to take it here. Now, right here is where you can come and you can fill in your name. So you go your first, last, email, and some message if you like. Of course, you're going to do I'm not a robot. And then send. So let's go to About Us. Slow boat to China here. All right, let's see here. So here you're going to find who we are. And then you'll have a little bit more, and you'll go down here and you'll have a little bit about me. So I'm Petra, and I developed this because I have compassion and love for everyone. You know, my idea was, can't save the world, but I sure wish I could. And the most amazing thing is I get to save one person at a time if they'd like to come and be with me. Ooh, I got good work. Thank you. Ooh, thank you. Sweet. Okay, here. So for me, I'm credentialed. I had started out with a social associate's degree in disabilities. I figured, hey, you know what? I had learning disability growing up all my life and got bullied and picked on. And I thought, you know what? I wanted to learn how to work with people with disabilities. You know, start to break down those barriers, right? And so my 2-year degree was for that. With a 2-year degree, I opened 7 adult family homes. I took truckers and farmers and made them supervisors. The most important thing there for me was changing people's lives. Still, again, it's all about supporting people, you know, bringing out the best of people, you know. Instead of looking at their deficits, let's look at what they can do good. Let's try to take our focus off of the negative and put it onto the positive. And that's what's important for me. All right, so let's look here. I went back later in life and I got my 4-year degree. So I currently hold a clinical substance abuse in counseling. I'm a smart facilitator, peer specialist. I work with trauma-informed care and domestic violence. And so that's a little bit about who I am and what you get when you come here. And so then we can go to booking online. It's taking a little time to load here. Well, booking online is where you want to go when you want to book. Here we go. Oops. There we go. Well, we're in supportive solutions, holistic practices. I believe in the whole body, mind, and spirit and emotions of a person. It's grounded in clinical insight and guided by heart-centered care. The approach looks beyond the surface of the symptom to explore the root cause. I believe that every situation or every occurrence, there's a root cause. And if we can dig down to the root cause of whatever the issue is, we can pull it out. We can take a look at it. We can figure out just what's going on there? What's causing the problems here? And change that. So let's see here. I believe these tools are designed to support us in emotional regulation, strengthening resilience, and helping us to connect to our inner truth. You know, the truth of the matter is we go through lots of difficulties in our life, but they make us stronger if we don't collapse in it. Through resilience and strength is what comes out of all of those difficulties in our life. Just remember that you're not alone. You'll never be alone. If you come to Hope Transcends, you'll have me to walk right with you, right beside you. No matter what the difficulties are, you can get through it. We all can get through it. So let's go. I believe in spiritual guidance. I don't discriminate anybody's belief systems. I want to talk just a little bit about what I believe. You know, we're all born with this wonderful, beautiful energy. It's a positive energy. It's like the brightest light there possibly could be. And we're all given it at birth. We're the most innocent, beautiful children given this at birth. And negative energy is around us. And you know, it can rob us of that positivity. Some people have a little bit more brightness than others, but we all have it. We all have it. And really, we don't give it up unless we don't give it up unless other people come around and or difficult situations happen and we get angry about it and we bury our heads in the sand, or we use drugs or alcohol. And I think that it's very important to know that we don't have to do that. We can figure it out, keep our happy. A happy is about thoughts, right? So let's look here. Oh yes, and I'm reminded this is hopetranscends.com. Super amazing, super amazing. That's all you have to do is you can just go hopetranscends.com. You can find it on my TikTok. There's a little link there. If you look up Petra Hagin, you'll find it there. I encourage anyone to come along and just take a look at it. Just come and see what there is we have to offer. All right. Okay, so let's see here. So any kind of religion or spiritual belief systems are welcomed. We have again talking about CBT or DBT. Those are integrated compassion, heart centered approaches to help people gently transform unhelpful thoughts. So with cognitive behavior therapy, it's the process that any bad thing can happen, doesn't matter. Any good thing can happen. Things happen to us, right? So no matter what happens to us, there's a thought, and the thought drives the feeling, and the feeling drives the action. And the action, well, we all know our behavior has a consequence, right? You know, we're never really taught that as children. If we could give that to our kids would have a better opportunity to make better decisions in their life. So it's like road rage. Okay, I talk about this all the time because I suffered with road rage for a long time. But it's like road rage, okay? And so somebody screams around me and they slam their brakes on in front of me and I get very angry and I might want to flip them off or, you know, scream at them or come around and slam my brakes on in front of them, right? But that could cause an accident and very likely I wouldn't make it to work, right? So what do I do, right? So it's a battery analogy. Think about a battery. A battery has a positive, it has a negative. And so if I change that negative thought to a positive thought, wow, what does that do to my feeling? So now the negative thought was, I'm going to scream around them. What the hell are they doing? What, are they trying to cause an accident? And I can just feel the rage in my body as I start to continue with those negative thoughts. But what if I said, oh, they're in a hurry. What if I go around the corner and I see it's a little old lady? Well, I sure the hell ain't gonna flip my fingers off at them. I'm not gonna want to slam my brakes in front of them because you know what? They're probably gonna have a freaking heart attack. Well, I don't want them to have a heart attack, so automatically it changes the way I think. Changing the way I think, wow, just changed the way I felt. So the most amazing thing is I controlled my feelings. When I control my feelings, I don't flip them off. I don't slam the brakes on in front of them. Wow, I made it to work on time just fine. And that was my consequence. So if my consequence is a goal, well, I don't know anybody who had a goal to have road rage, right? So I think it's just a matter of really kind of thinking about how we think about things. Taking control of how we think controls how we feel. So when you're driving in a car, you don't take your hands off the wheels, because if you take your hands off the wheels, well, we all know what's going to happen then, right? So when we don't control our thinking, our feelings control us. And if our feelings control us, we don't have control of the outcome, right? And so I think it's super important for us to be able to remember that. So let's keep going. Okay, so cognitive behavior therapy, and that's kind of what that is. Embracing and accepting your present emotion with kindness and awareness. Cultivating practical, loving coping skills for distress tolerance and emotional harmony. Listen, I had such anger problems when I was younger. If I can control my emotions don't control me. I want you to think about this. Think about two people, same people. One person is connected to the computer and the computer is running that person. Same person connected to the computer and that person's controlling the computer. What would you like? Would you like your brain to control you, or do you want to control your brain? Do you want your feelings to control you, or do you want to control your emotions, right? So I always say stop, drop, and roll. That means stop and think about, kind of what's going on. How are you feeling? Hey, if you don't like the way you feel, jump back to your thoughts and start controlling those thoughts, because you won't have those same feelings. I guarantee you. Control your emotions. Absolutely. And the best way to control your emotions is to control your thoughts, right? So let's go back here. And so I believe in deepened connections through clear, compassionate, empowering communication. Hey, if we don't have good communication and we're not talking to somebody who actually listens to us, active listening, looking at the person, actually hearing what they're saying to you, even feedback to them, right? If we don't have good communication, it all kind of goes to heck, doesn't it? So best to be in control. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so let's see some more things that we believe in. Deepening our connections through clear, compassionate, and empowered communication. Yes. And then practicing mindfulness, as a spiritual anchor to remain grounded in the present moment. Grounded in the present moment. I wonder if anybody knows what that is. It's very easy to talk about ungrounding, right? So you're sitting down and you're playing a game with somebody, right? You're sitting in there and you're playing a game, and all of a sudden you're losing the game because your head's not there. Your head is thinking about all the problems that you've had that day or what's going to happen tomorrow, and you're not grounded. You're not in the moment enjoying that game with the person, right? So how do we get grounded? All right. So a great exercise on how to get grounded is really just looking at the people that you're with. Putting out those negative thoughts or those thoughts of tomorrow and really just be in the present and the moment with the people. Life is so short. If we don't take the time to be with our people and to enjoy those moments, look what we lose. We lose the moment with the person. So part of being grounded is you can look around the room. Really, what's in your room? Look at the wall. What color is the wall? Who are you actually with? Looking in their eyes, being present in the moment, keeping yourself present so you can enjoy your life. Okay, so then encouraging lasting inner transformation by balancing self-acceptance with inspired change. Ooh, self-acceptance. Oh my gosh, that's one of the hardest things, I think. We have internal critical thought processes. Sometimes they're internal critical thought processes that other people put there. One of mine was, oh, you leave me and you're never going to have a pot to piss in. Really? And I thought, I can't leave the situation because I'll have nothing. Well, you know what? The first time I got my first apartment after I left that abusive situation, first thing I did, I went and pissed in my pot because I had one, right? So some of the other internal negative thought processes that I have are, I have learning disability, and so reading sometimes isn't always easy for me. And so I get the fear that I'm not going to be able to read these awesome little notes that people are writing in here. But that fear will hold me back, right? Or I will think that I'm stupid because I have difficulty reading. I'm not stupid. So how do you, yes, be in the moment? That's the very best place to be. Thank you so much. You're so right about that. So those internal negative thought processes, you know how you fight those? You pull out real truths. Those truths are going to fight those irrational thought processes and those irrational beliefs. So the fact is, I went through college with a 4.0 all the way through. I can't be stupid. Oh, I might have a challenge with reading, but I'm not a dumb person, right? And so we take those negative thoughts, we lay them on a piece of paper, and we come up with all of the true facts, and we navigate it, right? I think that's super important. And we are our own worst enemy, but we could also be our own best friend, right? Self-love. Self-love is so important because if we don't have self-love, we're going to be looking for love all around us, and we're never going to be happy, and we're never going to be satisfied, even with the partners we choose. So being able to stand on my own 2 feet and say, hey, Petra, you're pretty awesome. You're a pretty great person. You like to give to people. You like to support people. You'd like to change the world, even though maybe you couldn't do everything you want to do. You're going to do one person at a time, as long as they open up and come to you and trust you, right? And so that internal negative thought processes then start to be fought by realistic truths. Pretty soon, you don't have so many of them. I play a head game, and not like you think, but I play head games. And that's when the negative thought comes, I change it and make that positive thought. And pretty soon, that positive thought is the first thought I'm having. And that's pretty amazing. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see here. So encouraging, and so then we're just going to keep looking here. This integration offers a holistic toolkit to think with clarity, feel emotionally safe and supported, and connected authentically. All right, trauma. Trauma-informed care. Did you know that 97% of all people who struggle with addiction have had trauma in their life? And if I think about trauma, I'm thinking about some of the things that I even had to go through. The lack of self-worth after trauma, right? So with trauma-informed care, it's a compassionate, evidence-based approach to support individuals who've had experienced trauma. Now, trauma can happen to anybody. Anything can happen. Trauma can happen to anybody. We become traumatized when we can't wrap our head around what happened. So trauma is pretty normal. But when we become traumatized, again, it's because we can't wrap our head around what just happened, right? So recognizing, so it recognizes that trauma you experience can affect every area of your life. It doesn't just affect physically, right? So it affects emotional, physical, and mental, and spiritual in your life. It affects every area of your life. And the healing requires safe, respectful, and empowering environment. This shifts the perspective and helps reduce shame and foster deeper understanding. The goals here are to create a safe, supportive space where individuals feel seen, heard, and respected. That is one of the most important things when I was going through my own traumatized situations, where that nobody listened to me, nobody heard me, and nobody believed me. You know, had I been given that opportunity where it was safe, somebody actually heard me, maybe they understood because they went through it themselves, you know, took away the blame and the shame and really heard what happened, you know, and trauma can be deadly, right? Can be devastating and deadly. People take their lives, people become addicted to drugs, people crumble, you know, and it doesn't have to be that way. Really, it doesn't have to be that way. Let's look at what the problem was, what the situation was holistically, realistically. Let's take away the shame and the blame and the guilt, right? That's super important. We need places where we can build trust through consistency, transparency, and compassion. A lot of times you go to a counselor and they're just looking at their clock and they're wondering when the time is going to be done. Yeah, that's not the person that we're looking for to hear us, you know. I got an opportunity one time to meet with somebody, and they were dropped off at my office, and they were still coming through with some withdrawal from the hospital. And it took a little while for them to be able to calm down and relax. And the thing that they told me was that they had been abused since they were 7 years old, and they were taken to the daycare, and their parent didn't believe them and left them there until they were 12 years old, and they had been molested all that time. And I said, "You're okay. Everything is going to be okay. I'm right here with you. You're not in that same place anymore." And I put out my hand and I said, "Hi, I'm Petra." I said, "You know what? I care, and I believe in you. I believe what happened to you." And the person cried, and it was okay. It's okay to let your emotions out. It was a safe place to cry. And I said, "If you got sober, what would you want to be? So what do you want to be when you get sober?" And the person said, "I want to be a counselor just like you." It's 5 years later, they're completely sober, and they're a sober coach. You can do anything you want in your life. You know, let's just find out what qualities you got. Pull them out. So making sure that when somebody comes to me that they have trauma, that they're heard, that they're understood, they're believed, and it's okay. And working through that trauma. That's super important. So we want to promote empowerment by honoring each person's voice, choice, and healing journey. You know, some people come and they've been put down all their life and didn't have a voice. It's so important that we understand people should be able to have a voice. They can speak what their truth is, and somebody is okay with it. You know, when we're kids, sometimes I think, thank you. You're changing the world. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's my protege. He's really good. I also have my market manager with me, my granddaughter, and my beautiful daughter-in-law. Thank you so much for being here to support me, because you know that I was super scared, but walking through fear is a huge thing. All right, so let's continue. Avoid re-traumatizing by practicing sensitivity and awareness to all interactions. Hey, we can be re-traumatized and re-victimized, and it's super important that that doesn't happen. So reading the person and understanding their language, their body language, stepping back and being sensitive to that is super important when they're going through healing, right? To support holistic healing across mind, body, and spirit. This approach invites you into a path of restoration, one where you reclaim all your senses, you reclaim your healing, you pull back all of that, and you find the power to continue to move on. So remember, some of the biggest, worst problems of trauma is really not dealing with the trauma. And lots of people, you know, commit suicide throughout. And I saw on TikTok where a lot of people were talking about suicide and not wanting to live, you know, and go through that. And I've got to tell you that everybody is worth living. Nothing in the world is worth taking your life for. And if you can't find it and you need to rebuild your life, come and see me, because I'll be right here to help you all the way. All right. So let's continue. So that is all about kind of the different things that we do. See if book online will come back up. My computer is super slow, so I apologize for that. And it's not really going to say that. Okay. Another area that I really would like to be able to share with you. So here we go. Stories of hope. Now, I read Stories of Hope the last time when I did my first session, my first live. But here's where you're going to find all the most amazing people who are strong enough to share their stories. And these are stories of people I was able to work with. And I'm so proud of them today. So the thing about putting on a story is if you put your story of hope here, you get points which give you free service. So if you join us and you put in story of hope, you get free service. And remember, your first session is always going to be free. All right. And so this is a really awesome place to come. And if you just want to know or get some hope, this is where you can come. All right. You can go to blogs. Blogs are very, very important, I feel. And here you're going to find lots of different amazing information. Here's the transformative power of group support and more about cognitive behavior therapy. But also you're going to see social community sustains long-term sobriety. And you'll see who it's written by. This one's written by Elijah and of Hope Transcends. And it will go down and it breaks it all down and it explains everything about it and why it's so important. We have other ones about childhood sexual trauma, about the silent thief that steals and hijacks addiction potential. So here's where you're going to find lots of different information. And you can also write comments, which we really appreciate. We appreciate every comment that you'll put here. And everything that you give us, because we'll take that and maybe even write a blog about information that you find that you'd like. So please keep that in mind, okay? And so then if you're wondering how to navigate the whole system, you can go straight to the help. And here you are in the help section. How do I sign up? How do I log in? Getting started. Posting a testimonial. Starting a new group. Starting a new group is super important and super awesome. So say I don't have something on here and you have a group of people who are like-minded and just need the support. Super easy. All you have to do is tell me what you're looking for and we can start a whole brand new group. So whatever that might be, you know, whatever support group you might be looking for. And that's exactly what you can do. So it's more interactive than what most people's support stuff is, because I want it to be for you and for me and for anybody. So I think it's really awesome that we can start our own group. Okay, so I love this. Well, I want to talk about Hope Rewards. This is super amazing. So Hope Rewards program is designed to support your continued growth by offering savings on events, classes, and meetings that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. It's a way of encouraging you to invest in yourself while making meaningful connections along the way. Continued care, whether through professional counseling or connecting with supportive peers. It provides encouragement, accountability, healthy coping skills, gives you all of that. And here's how it works. Simply sign up. Look at that. If you just sign up on the website, you get 15 points. 15 points is $15 towards support. Enter each point earned is $1. Use your points to purchase any service, class, group, or event that Hope Transcends offers. You can utilize your points during the check-in or checkout process. You'll be asked how many points you wish to apply. When you sign in, you have your own little area where you can go in there and you can look at all your points. It's pretty amazing. Really pretty amazing. Then let's see here. You can give your points away. So if you add up points and you have a family member that's really going through a crisis and they need that support, you can give them points. I talk about, in my blog or in my TikTok posts, I talk about you being able to be a hero. The most amazing thing is giving those points to people who really need them. And here's where you can do that. Sign up, you get 15 points. So then you graduate from any offered class and receive another 25 points. So if you graduate from one of those classes, you get another 25 points that you can add to whatever you want, right? And then start up a group. If you have 5 or more people that want to start up a group, that's another 25 points. Wow, now if it's your birthday, heck, I'm giving you another 20 points. How about that? This is a way that I want to be able to give back to people so that nobody ever has to feel like they don't have to be able to, they can't afford service. Now, I heard so many times people tell me that their insurance wouldn't cover, or they didn't have insurance, or, they had asked for the help and couldn't get it. Here you can get it. Here you can get it, and you can earn points, and you don't even have to pay. So there's, in many, many circumstances, you wouldn't have to pay so much, right? So that's what's really important to me. Give the gift to others. Refer a friend. Look at that. If you refer a friend, when they book and pay, you get another 25 points. So, and your friend also receives 15 points after their first booking. I really don't know any site out there that's offering this much support. And it makes my heart glad to know that we can do that. So if you like what we have to offer and you don't have the money, come check it out. Come check what we have to offer out. Okay? So that is a lot of kind of what the website is, and pretty much all about us. So let's see. The one thing I wanted to also talk about is, let's see if I can get it to go home. Let's see. There is somewhere on here, and I don't know. Oh, please give. Yes, yes. This is such an important thing, right? So, the gift of hope. There's a few amazing people out there who give to people. One of them is Victor the Good Boss. There's several other ones that you can see on TikTok and YouTube. And what is amazing about that is they're getting people off the streets. They're helping homeless people and people who are struggling with addiction and just about anything. And they get a lot of really good support by people giving. Even $1 goes a long way to support somebody. Here, the gift of hope, you can donate $10, $20, $50, $100, $20, whatever the amount of money is that you would like to give. It's a place where compassion becomes transformation. Welcome to Donations of the Heart, a place where your generosity becomes somebody else's breakthrough. Here, your gift provides personal coaching to individuals who are ready to heal, grow, and reclaim their lives, but have the lack of finances. For me, it was so important to be able to break that barrier. Not only break the barrier of the financial difficulty to get the support, but I don't really feel like it's therapy at all. I feel like it's having a great conversation. I feel like it's teaching people how to rebuild their lives. I feel like that's what it is. We stigmatize support. Absolutely nobody wants to feel like they're a burden to somebody. But I want you to think about it this way. Here, I want you to think about it this way, okay? When you help somebody, how does it feel? For me, it feels amazing. It feels amazing to be able to help somebody. I build my self-esteem, my belief systems, all on that, right? How good it feels to be able to help people. Well, in turn, why would I steal that from somebody who could help me, right? So I think it's super important to remember that we're not a burden. Helping someone feels super amazing. And when you steal that from somebody because you need help, yeah, that's not so good, is it? When you need help, you're definitely not somebody who's a burden, right? I think about this too. It's like, I'll be in a job and I'll be working and I won't have an answer to something, and so I'll just strive at it and strive at it, and I get frustrated about it, and I might throw things or break things, or hell, I can even lose my job because I'm too bullheaded or too proud to ask for help. But one thing I know is if I get the help immediately, wow, I'm going to recognize it, accept it, I'm going to learn from it, I'm going to move on from it. And by God, I'm going to teach somebody along the way when it's my turn to teach somebody. So help should never feel like it's a weakness, right? Yeah. So I'm coming to the close, but before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about walking in the darkness. I want to talk a little bit about how hope lightens up the darkness, right? For the majority of my life, I walked in darkness. I knew that there was a light inside of me, but I was angry. I had been abused, and all I could see was dark around me. I got to the very bottom of a big pit and thought to myself, this can't be everything. This can't be all there is. Can't be all there is. No, so slowly I started pulling myself out of the pit. The closer I got to the surface, the brighter my light got. We all have that light, and we don't have to walk in the darkness. If you're suffering or you can't see that light, Hope Transcends will help you find that light. And will help you rebuild your life. I had to rebuild my life more than 7 times. I sort of feel like a pro at it, And we can all rebuild our life. When we're in the dark, it's so heavy, it's almost suffocating. As we get closer to the light, we get lighter. We get brighter. Even the bad things in life don't seem so bad anymore. Those bumps in the road? Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. And, it's faith and belief in yourself. It's continuing to push forward, even though it's so difficult. It's finding support people to help you when you feel like you can't do it anymore, because you're never alone. You'll never have to be alone, right? And, mental wellness. Look, we all have mental health. Every one of us has mental health. If we're not taking care of our mental wellness, we get sick. We get physically sick, right? And sometimes we die. So I think it's super important for you to remember that your mental health is just as important as your physical health, right? Yeah. And we have to be good. Thanks, Bree, for being here. I appreciate you. I just want you to remember that no matter what, there's hope. And hope is what pushes us forward to where we're going to go. You think about where you came from. You think about where you are. And you think about where you want to go. And you push yourself. That hope pushes you forward to where you want to go. Right? Who do you want to be when all this darkness is gone? Right? Personal grounding. Just remember those setbacks. Oh yeah, and we all have setbacks. For real. There isn't anybody who's a human being out there who doesn't have problems. But if you have a problem, what's really important about that problem is to find out, what was the purpose of the problem? What was the learning experience that I have to know? And usually it's not just you who has the problem. It's not just you who has a learning experience, right? The guy that got dropped off at the house and didn't have a way to get home, and he's sleeping out on my couch, I got a problem because I'm too insensitive. I'm too sensitive and too, I can't stand up for myself enough to say, hey, dude, you gotta leave, because I'm a people pleaser. So he sleeps on my couch all day long, and I'm walking around on eggshells in my house because I don't have enough guts to say, hey, you need to go. You need to go, right? And the person that's on the couch who's disrespected my house the whole day needs a lesson too, right? That person needs to learn respect, and we all need boundaries, right? So learning and all the difficulties that I've gone through that brought me right here to you, well, all that trauma's not been bad. It's not a bad thing. No matter what happens in my life, it's not a bad thing. What it is it's a learning lesson. And the sooner I learn that lesson, the less I'm banging my head against the wall, right? We need to learn our lessons. We need to, and then the beauty of it all is all of those lessons I learn now, I get to share and help other people, right? Full recovery is sitting right here with you, just like I did today. So I want to thank you so much for being a part of this. Come and visit us at the website, and yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear control you. Don't let your emotions keep you on a roller coaster. Let's pull you out of the darkness. Let's put you back into the light. Let's teach you how to rebuild, right? Because that's what it's all about. If there's anyone who's got any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything now. Want to say thanks to Bree. Want to thanks to Elijah. Yobi, thank you. So anyone else who joined, I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to do this again on Sunday. When I do lives, I am going to post them so that people know. If you come on the website and you want to start doing sessions with me, all you got to do is look at what times I have available. If I have something that's not available, and I will maneuver my stuff around to meet you, I'll do that too. Just give me an opportunity. You'd be so surprised at the most amazing things that can happen. I've seen them. Putting little seeds in somebody's mind, never telling them what to do, not leading them through their journey, but just sitting back, finding out who they are, finding out what they want in their life, and supporting that, right? Because I think if anybody would tell me what to do, I'd probably tell them to go jump in the lake. But if somebody sat with me and listened to me and validated me and supported me, I think that's the most amazing thing. So I want to say thank you for your time, for sharing for being a part of this with me. Let's see, Elijah. Wow, we're saying thank you to you for your time and sharing your light on us for tonight. And I appreciate you being here with me. All right, that's it. Come to hopetranscends.com, where your life can be transcended by hope and the belief in yourself. Thank you.